Hi everyone, how are you doing? It is the 3rd of July. I hope you're having a good time, whatever it is you're doing, even if you're doing nothing. What have I been doing? I've been listening to Elvis songs. I know I started talking about the songs and just started reminding me of how much my mom loved Elvis. And when holidays come upon me, especially the 4th of July, those kind of ones where you have barbecues, I just really miss my mom. So I started listening to his songs on YouTube. You know, once you start, they pop up one after another, and the story about him and his wife and his daughter and their love story. And all I was thinking is, I think she was 14 when she met him. He was quite a bit older than her. Oh, there's my phone. And think about how my mom was well, the first boyfriend I had, he was 4 years older than me. Well, she didn't ever want me to have a boyfriend, period. But then the second guy, when she found out, she was so devastated. And the stories I watched were about his not then wife, his girlfriend, Priscilla, and how her parents didn't want her to have anything to do with him because they said, oh, he's just a movie star. He was, I guess, in the service when she had met him. Or before he went, I don't know, whatever, the whole story. I've watched so many stories on him in the last 48 hours, but anyhow, once he came back from the service, I think she said it took 6 weeks for him to finally call her and have her come up for the holidays, and she did, and she came back, and she was in love, and that was it. And then the next holiday, and so on and so forth, and, you know, the rest of the story. If you're not an Elvis lover, you won't know the rest of the story. But anyhow, I was watching, they said it was his last concert, and 6 weeks later he died. And they said I assume it was his manager, said, he whispered in his ear and he said, be careful getting on stage, because they said he had gained quite a bit of weight and his health wasn't good. And he always prided himself in the way he looked. So, you know, they didn't want him to stumble or anything. And the more I looked at Elvis, the more I saw the resemblance. My dad really did look like Elvis, especially when he did his hair like him. And when I watched the way Elvis was with his daughter and saying, you know, he buys her anything she wants, and even when they divorced, you know, they got along, and he said he'd, you know, get Lisa Marie whatever she wanted, his daughter. And my dad was kind of like that, but what I really wanted from my dad was love. And I wonder if Elvis could show love. Just a observation, because he said when they divorced, him and Priscilla, they decided that, you know, his work was just taking him away and from her and everything. And in other words, he couldn't give her the attention she needed, and maybe he couldn't his daughter. And I mean, I know he loved his daughter. I know my father loved me, but there's love and there's love. So then I started thinking about my father, which will be 11 years that he passed away in August, and 11 years that my mom passed away not November. Yeah, it's November. So it was nice to watch, because my mom really loved Elvis Presley music, but just watching it brought up all these memories and wondering how it was for him. You know, it doesn't matter. You can have all the money in the world and still be lonely and unhappy, and may not even know real love, or may not know what you had was a good thing, was right in front of you. But the last thing I had watched was, I think that's how I started this video, was about the song, concert. 6 weeks later he had died, and the last song he sang on there was I Did It My Way. I think the beginning words are, the end is near. I think that's the first line. But anyhow, it's almost like he knew. And I didn't look up how he died. I have some thoughts of what happened, but anyhow, bottom line was, he always wanted to look good. That's how my dad was. And actually, when I put up a picture of my dad and me, the only one I had found, one of my old friends from my beginning of the my life when I came here to the States. She said he was dressed up. He came over for Christmas, and I had this real nice dress with the top part was velvet, and I had a white bow in my hair, and he was dressed up in a suit and tie. And she says, I remember your dad always being well dressed, and he was. He always took pride in the way he looked, and this is what they said about Elvis. And I guess Elvis, being in front of people, unlike my father, he wanted to look good. And sadly, in that world of entertainment, and acting and all, it's all about looking good. And I'm sure if you watched any soap operas or shows or movies, you've seen some of the actors or actresses put, Botox? I don't know what you put in to make yourself look younger, but actually they look worse, in my opinion. But we don't all age gracefully. That it shouldn't be about that. It should be what's inside, and that's what I always said. The few people I got to date were between husbands. When I did a little bit of dating, I always said, if you like me from my outsides, I really don't want anything to do with you, because our outsides will change, but what's inside, I can guarantee, is drop dead gorgeous and will continue, because that is me, my soul, my essence. We can't control what happens on the outside. I guess on the inside it could change. I mean, the world could make you jaded, but then it's your choice. And I think if your essence is really true and you're true to yourself, those insides won't change. You will, of course, grow and mature, but they will stay the same. So it's really sad when you think of him that, he was so worried about his appearance, and I don't think anyone really noticed, that, they could physically see him getting heavier, but it's the voice. I know for me, 2 of the boyfriends I had could sing really good, and both of them wrote a song for me. And that meant so much. It wouldn't matter. The one, I was very young. He happened to be really good looking. But it wouldn't matter if he was 500 pounds. His voice and playing the guitar. And it's too bad we live in this kind of superficial world, and that's how it's always been. When you go back, when I took an elective, the history of rock and roll, and that's when I got to hear a lot of songs, and then I did papers on, and it was all about how you look, and of course, how you perform. But that's sad. We do live in this kind of society. But I've always tried to, even back in school, the cliques, I wasn't in a clique. I was just, friends with everybody. And I've shared with you, I know probably sometime in the beginning when I talked about me, I was a model, and, I don't know, I never thought I was anything spectacular. And I remember one guy I dated said, you just don't see how beautiful you are. And now in hindsight, he was talking about my outer beauty. And my rule would be, I would have said goodbye. But he did treat me good. But when I look back now in hindsight, when I'm older and wiser, he was just all about my outer beauty. And that's not what I want. That's why I'm not with him anymore, obviously, because, when people are with people for their outer beauty, even if they stay beautiful, that usually doesn't last. It's the insides. It's, the older couples, the other generation, way back, the one where the guy's holding the woman's purse. That's what I always longed for. But anyhow, how we got from Elvis to a purse, I don't know. So that's how I've been spending my 4th of July, which still is yet to come tomorrow. I hope you're having a happy and a safe one, and enjoying what you're doing, even if it's resting or listening to music. So for now, don't forget to subscribe, share our videos, hit that like button. It helps share our videos. Be kind to people, especially on holiday weekends. That's why I just put this kind of video up that's like not here or there. Well, I like Elvis because my mom liked Elvis, and I heard a lot of Elvis growing up from her, but I figure if no one's around, oh well, if they don't hear this video, or they can hear it another time. But there are people alone. I've seen on some Facebook boards, people are alone, and it hurts my heart. When they say they're alone, they have no one. So maybe there's someone alone. I know other years people have said, they were alone on a holiday. Christmas, I guess one year someone said, and they were happy I'd put up a video. So I thought I'd just share this with you. If you're here now, or watching later, or not at all. Be kind to yourself, enjoy the holiday, and be safe.